let's talk about the grip. How many videos have you seen talking about the perfect grip? And let's just start by saying that there is no perfect grip. If you look on tour, on any of the tours, you're going to find players with variations of the grip which matches up with how they move their body. However, there are some things I see in club golfers which definitely make things a lot harder for them by how they are gripping the golf club. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the 3 biggest errors I see in club golfers with their grip. So the first error I see so much in club golfers is a scenario where they try to put their grip on the club by coming in from underneath too much. Now, when we take our grip, one of the big pieces we like to see, and this isn't exactly for everybody, but it does make things a lot easier for most golfers, is we would like to get the heel pad of our left hand, our lead hand, this bit here, on top of the grip like so. Now, the reason why we want to do that is because by having this heel pad here, this gives me what we call leverage. In other words, I'm able to hinge the club correctly. And when we look in the backswing, one of the big movements we want to do is we want to be able to create a set or a hinge, create a lever in the backswing so that we can generate club head speed. We have the ability to control the club face better as well. When we start to get that grip excessively underneath like so, that can make it very difficult for us to get any leverage or leverage on the golf club, which means that we can't hinge properly. It's going to make it difficult to create power, and it's going to make it difficult to control that club face. So a quick way of fixing this is when you take your address position, if you just let your arms hang down, you'll notice that for most of us, our hands hang slightly inwards. In other words, the palm of my hand is pointing towards my thighs. If you would just take that position and just put it on top of the club like so, just don't change the arm position, just simply place it on the club, you'll find that you get into that, let's call it a neutral, if not slightly strong, so slightly down the right side of the handle grip. Now, this position gives me that heel pad on top of the grip. That gives me that leverage, and you'll noticeably feel how much more control you've got over the golf club versus having your hand too much underneath like so. The second error I commonly see is with players and their trail hand, and this is particularly towards those who try to interlock their grip. When we talk about interlocking the grip, we're referring to taking the trail little finger and interlocking it with the lead hand index finger. Now, the problem is when golfers do this, what they tend to do is they tend to try and jam their fingers together. They're trying to get the webbing on their trail hand touching the webbing on their lead hand and slamming in the grip like so. The problem is with this is that starts to sit that trail hand too far underneath the grip. Once again, this places the right hand in a difficult position. It's going to make it hard for us to hinge on the backswing, hard for us to control the club face. You tend to see golfers from this scenario have a very shut club face in the backswing, so it makes it hard for them to create any loft, and commonly you'll see a lot of flipping because that's how the hand is going to want to work from this sort of position here. The fix for this is to basically reframe the grip you're using. So rather than an interlock, think of it more as an interlink. Once again, if we take that set position, we just let the arms hang down in front of us, you'll see that your trail hand actually wants to sit pointing slightly inwards. If you were to take that and basically use the meat of your right hand to hide your lead hand thumb, like so, and then just link the fingers in behind, you'll notice that they're not as jammed together. They're actually just gently, almost just sitting in the gap in between the knuckles there. And then your right hand can sit on top appropriately. So a nice way of changing that right hand grip or trail hand grip being too much under, think about placing the hand on top and interlinking, not interlocking. And the third one, you probably knew it was coming, gripping the club too tight. Now, let's just be clear on this. When you're swinging the golf club, you do want to make sure you are holding on to this thing because we want to be able to apply force to this handle. We don't want to be gripping the thing so light that it's flopping around in our hands and we can't really pull down on the handle or create some force going into that club head. But when you're setting up, and I get this a lot when I go to change people's grips in sessions, if we're gripping onto it for dear life before we take the club away, we're stiffening up the muscles through our arms, which is going to make it harder for us to create that really nice hinge through the wrist to set the club up onto plane. Like I said earlier, create the levers there. And what you typically get with these people is because they don't use their wrists, because they're gripping on so tight through here, they end up bending their arms excessively to try and get the club up, because we've got to get the club up in some way. You'll see things like when they lift and pull the arms up, you get this horrible arm structure there. The face tends to be very, very shut because we very much just pulled the club up like this. No loft in the backswing. And coming down from there, we've got to try and figure out a way to get this thing up in the air, and you'll see all sorts of compensations. I'm not going to give you the cliche, grip it like a baby bird or hold it like you're holding a tube of toothpaste. You do need to hold on to this thing. Let's be really clear on that. But let's say on the scale, 10 out of 10 is as tight as you can hold it, 1 out of 10 is barely holding it. Let's go for something around a 5 or a 6, not going up into 8 or 9 or 10, because that's going to affect how we can hinge. There it is, the 3 biggest grip errors I see in club golfers in my day-to-day lessons. If any of those apply to you, be sure to check out my page for more content that's going to help you with those grip errors. Or if you're interested in online lessons, be sure to check out my Skillest page, where you can get a free swing evaluation to hear my thoughts on your swing and how we would work together to improve it and start playing better golf.